Hi you guys, it's me, Be Unique. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello and welcome. If you're returning, you know you guys are awesome. I just wanted to say thank you all to that have subscribed to my channel so far. And if this video isn't posted by the time the giveaway ends, I hope you guys have entered that giveaway. So yeah, this video is a Makeup for Dummies series. I know I did my brows already in a previous video, which I'll probably leave a card up here or something. So now this is the base makeup or foundation routine, if you will. I talk about the primer, skin prep. I do not go into bronzer, contour, anything like that. I don't think that's really necessary. If you guys would like me to do something like that, go ahead and leave a comment and let me know. But yeah, I just thought, you know, this is kind of more important. I know for people like my sister that are really like not getting older, because I mean, we're all getting older, but are in a later stage in their life where maybe they never got into makeup and they're just starting. I know, especially for her, she gets so overwhelmed. So I decided to do the Makeup for Dummies series for people like her, for her. So I hope that this is really useful. Again, I'm not doing any foundation. Of course I'm doing foundation. I'm not doing any bronzer, contour. This is just the base. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and if you're interested, I'm coming barefaced, you guys, really quick. My brows are done, but I wanted to walk through the steps with prepping first. So you always want to moisturize regardless of your skin type, whether it's dry, oily, or normal. Moisturization is very, very, very important. So my primers that I like to use because of my skin type, which if you guys did not know is oily, I like to use two primers. The ones that I'm using right now are the Cooling Mattifying. Again, my skin is oily, so I like to use a mattifying, and then I go over top with the Tatcha Silk Canvas, which is like a pore filler and all that, because I do have some pores. So depending on your skin type and what you're going to need, you're going to get a primer that suits you. Do not forget the base, because if you're using a silicone foundation, you want to use a silicone primer, not oil or water. You know, everything counteracts depending on what the base is. So I already have my primer and everything done. I'm just going to really quick set. I always, because of, again, of my skin type, I set my primer down with some powder and I go over very lightly, like so. Now with that done, like sometimes depending on my skin, I'll put maybe a little extra here in my T-zone. It also helps with added coverage. Any foundation you use is fine, but you got to keep in mind what you want. So for me, I am a full coverage girl. I like something that's going to last me all day because of my oily skin. I do live in a humid climate, so I tend to use the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I'm in the shade 3W1. There are different types of foundations out there. There's your BB creams, your CC creams, your sheer coverage, medium coverage to full coverage. So everything ranges. If you do have a full coverage foundation and you want lighter coverage, go ahead and add some moisturizer to that. That should sheer out a bit. Also, the types of tools that you use are important as well. I use a damp beauty blender. Never use this dry, ever, because you will waste product. So for those of you who don't know, wet it till it expands, squeeze out the excess. Sometimes I even take a paper towel and I just lightly squeeze it to get anything extra out. That's very important. There's brushes out there, stippling brushes, buffing brushes. Let me see if I can you have the beauty blender. You can use your fingers. Personal preference, make sure your hands are clean. I find that it leaves streaks. So this is an example of a buffing brush. This is the Morphe Y6. I think they changed it to the M6 now, but if you ask someone in your local Sephora, or no, I don't think they have them in Sephora, Ulta, or your Morphe store, you'll know. Just ask. So there's this brush. This is a buffing, pretty dense, flat. Some come a little rounded. You have a beauty blender, and then you have a dual fiber, or they also come, I think, stippling brushes. So you could use that. This is for more sheer coverage, stippling. I feel, again, streaks. The buffing brush is not too bad with streaks, depending on the brush you have. You know, it's like an art. You're an artist. Think of yourself as an artist, and I don't have any other brushes. the quality of your art is, you know, depends on what kind of brushes you have, what kind of tools you have. Be intimidated. Do not be intimidated. So what I tend to do is I tend to either put it on my face or on the back of my hand. For beginners, I would put it on the back of the hand and then, you know, put it on your face from there. But I know kind of, oh, this is not even open of what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna, why is this not open? Is this, now it should be, there we go. So always go a little at first. So I use 2 pumps, but that's typically what I normally use for my foundation. Some days I find that I need more, so I will add more, but I always start with the 2 and then blend in. If you're using a beauty blender, you want to do exactly what I'm doing. They don't call it beating your face for nothing. So you're just gonna pounce it on your skin with a brush. With the Y6, you're gonna want more of a buffing circular motion. You can stipple it a little bit, like, you know, padding to help, but you just have to practice. It all comes down to trial and error and just trying to find out what works best for you and your skin. For beginners, I would not do your eyebrows first, just because I personally found it hard to go around my brows. I still do. I don't even know why I did them first today. So now that that's done blended, you're gonna, sometimes some people leave it, like I left this totally blank because I will go in with a concealer that's either a lighter shade than my foundation or the exact shade. It all depends. Half the time you don't even need to do this step. You can just put foundation on your eyes and set it. I like to go in with a concealer that's a few shades lighter. I use the Tarte Shape Tape in light medium, just because I like to add some brightness here. And it also primes my eyelids if I'm going to do any eyeshadow. So that's always a plus. Multitasking at its finest, you guys. So I'm going to go back in with the same beauty blender, but only on, I don't know if you guys noticed, this is more round, this is more pointed. A lot of you, I know this seems so redundant, you might not even watch this video because you know what you're doing, but this is for those, again, who have no idea what they're doing. Because I know there was a time that was me. I didn't really start getting into makeup until my late 20s. I'm 31 now. Oh God, I'm 31 now. So, I mean, there's a lot of girls I know that are just starting to get into makeup and they're the same age as me. So don't be scared. Just take your time. You want to make sure before you set. Setting is when you take the powder and put it, you know, to basically dry your foundation or concealer. There are some that are setting, or they will set on their own, but I've never tried it. So just make sure you have no creases before you start the step. Take any setting powder. You can do this with a brush or with your wet sponge. I use the same sponge. I'm just going in, making sure I have no creases and starting to get that all in the skin. Now I'll check here because that's where I tend to crease. I'm just gonna smooth that out and then get in there. Now a lot of girls bake, even I do. But before I bake, I will set everything first. Like, I'll put a lot. Baking is just when you take a lot of powder and you just let it sit there for at least 10 minutes. Like here, I'll just show you guys. Like, I will bake under my eyes because of the creasing. I will bake on the side of my nose because I get super oily there. Oh my gosh. And I don't want anything moving around either. And my chin. And I will always do my smile lines. That for me is like a curse. Oh my God. My crease there is so bad. So if this delays that process, great. Now, if you have highlighted with your concealer, either here like I had done down the nose or your chin, if you do this, it will help brighten it even more. I've noticed So just keep that in mind, that if you do decide to bake, like I didn't highlight here, but I'm going to bake there because it's really oily. That on that spot for me. This step is messy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, well, at least it for me. After I'm done baking, if I didn't get to a certain spot, I'll just take it and get the rest of my face. Now, what I'll do is either while this is baking, I will do my eyes and I'll move on to that. If not, I will take a big fluffy brush, get some powder, not too much because obviously your face is covered in it. Tap it off and just get all this area just to make sure that it's set. So I'm not going to do my eyes right now, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that because we're only concentrating on the base. Ooh, I missed a spot on my mouth. This is why I always put foundation. Just put it on your lips. Because if you don't and you go around and you're too busy, look at that. Ugh. That's something now I have to fix. But so learning the base is done, you can either, again, go to your eyes, blush, contouring, bronzer, whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to leave this video like that. I mean, you could easily go like this if you wanted to. When I'm typically done with all of my makeup from bronzer to highlight and everything, a lot of people nowadays use setting spray. I find that because I am oily, I will definitely set my makeup and use a setting spray. A lot of people don't. It depends on personal preference. There's a lot of different setting sprays out there. Keep that in mind. This one is from MAC, Prep and Prime. This specific one is Fix Gold Light, so it has little gold pieces in it that are very fine. I don't know if you guys can see that. So if you put this, you will have gold all over your face. They do have them without the gold. I love that setting spray. For drugstore, I have the Makeup Revolution Pro Fix Oil Control Fixing Spray. I don't really know if this controls oil per se. But I feel like it does work. So there's that one. Then I had gotten this one in a beauty box from Skin & Company, Truffle Therapy Radiant Dew. It does not make me dewy, but it works when I need it to. And then there's also the Pixie by Petra, right? Glow Mist. There's a little oil in here. I tell you what, even though there's oil in here and I'm an oily skin gal, I don't feel like this makes me look like an oil slick. So I kind of recommend this one too if you want to, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you found this video helpful at all. If you'd like me to continue the Makeup for Dummies series. And if you haven't already, sting that subscribe button. Come join my little beehive here with me. Help me pollinate the YouTube world, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. My sister said MySpace. I don't even know if that's still a thing nowadays. Let me know if that still is and if you use it. And if you haven't as well, share the video and hit that notification bell. That way you guys will be notified of any future content. And I will catch you guys in my next video.